Hey everybody, HomeSliceHenry here, and in today's video we're going to be taking a look at the most toxic yet effective strategy in the Retro Cup, Triple Dragon Breath / Dragon Tail. As you guys may know, in the Retro Cup, both Fairy types and Steel types are banned, which means there is nothing allowed in the Cup that resists Dragon Breath. So I ran Dragon Tail Haxorus on the lead, Dragonair Save Switch and Altaria Closer, and had massive success with the team. Although I would run Night Slash over Surf on Haxorus, I just don't have any charge TMs. So without further ado, let's hop into the matches and check out Triple Dragons in action. Hopping into the first match, leading Haxorus into Froslass. I have 3 Dragon types and they have an Ice type, but you can see the damage that Dragon Tail is able to do. I go for the Breaking Swipe as soon as I get it. I do let a Powder Snow sneak for free, but I just need to lower their damage output as soon as possible. They now cannot farm down due to the debuff, and they're forced to fire off an Avalanche. That works for me. I'm going to send in Dragonair. Opponent is going to give up Switch and send in Medicham. Unfortunately, the game ends up lagging, and somehow Dragonair loses CMP to a Medicham. Dragonair has a massively higher attack stat, but unfortunately, lag allows them to go first. Body Slam connects, and now we send in Altaria, which is the closer. I'm going to shield once, farm all the way down, and I'm just now noticing that for this first game, I was actually using the wrong Altaria. I have 2 Altarias built. This is my old Altaria that has Dragon Pulse. For the rest of the battles, I will be using my better IV one that has Moonblast. My opponent's final Pokemon is revealed to be Noctowl, and from here, we are in a very good spot to close out the game. I'm able to connect with a Sky Attack, and Altaria with Energy Advantage is just so deadly in this cup. They fire off the Sky Attack, Altaria shakes off that damage like it's nothing, and going for another Sky Attack. Sky Attack onto the Noctowl, will be shielded. Altaria making it to a 3rd Sky Attack, putting so much pressure onto the Noctowl. Sky Attack gets the KO. In comes the Froslass, Dragonair farms down, and that's a good game. We see same lead in the next match, Haxorus into Froslass. So again, an Ice type going up against Triple Dragons. Same game plan as before. I'm going for the Breaking Swipe as soon as I get it. I need this debuff to reduce the amount of damage that these Powder Snows are able to do. Opponent is going to be firing off the Avalanche. I'm going to let this go. Haxorus has done its job, and now with shield advantage, I can send in Dragonair. Even a debuffed Avalanche will still do monster damage, so I will commit the shield. Opponent now going to send in Lickitung. I'm going to look to get some chip damage with the Dragonair, hopefully tank a move, and then it's going to be Altaria time. They're firing off the Body Slam. I am perfectly fine with letting this through, and then I can send in Altaria. Altaria is going to look to fully commit to the farm down and leave with a massive amount of energy to threaten whatever my opponent has in the back. Body Slam number 1 is going to connect. Lickitung is going to be able to make it to Body Slam number 2, but I'm not going to be shielding here. I know that I'm going to be able to tank this. They will not make a 3rd move, and I leave with a massive amount of energy. Opponent sends in Froslass. I go for the Sky Attack as soon as I see them. I do not want to take a Powder Snow. That's going to KO in the back. There's a double, and I'm going for the Sky Attack before they're able to make it to the Body Slam. Sky Attack is going to connect. My opponent firing off the Body Slam. I'm going to use my final shield here. I know that they're 3 double kicks off. I send in the Dragonair, farm it up, and I overfarm to play to the CMP tie. This means they cannot overfarm to get the energy they need, and that's game over. Picking up a bit of a tough lead in the next match, Haxorus into Deoxys. So this team isn't necessarily seeing the greatest leads, but still seeing some pretty nice results. Opponent has farmed up to the Rock Slide. I am going to commit the shield here. They go for the Psycho Boost. Their attack is now 2 stages debuffed, although we can make it a 3rd stage with this Breaking Swipe. Breaking Swipe connects. They're now going to send in Dugong, and not only do they have the bulky Deoxys, they have an Ice type as well. Breaking Swipe connects. I've now lowered their attack, and I can send in the Dragonair. Dragonair will be able to tank the debuffed Icy Wind, but it's still going to deal a lot of damage. I will be able to make it to the Body Slam, and Body Slam will come very close to KOing here. Body Slam into the Dugong. Not quite going to KO, but I do get the farm down. The question is, will I make it to a move versus the Deoxys? I will not, as they send in Shadow Dragonair. But part of why Altaria is incredible is Altaria basically beats every other Dragon type in the format due to the fact that it is incredibly bulky. In comes Deoxys. I'm firing off the Sky Attack purely just to burn my switch clock. I need to force them to throw on the Haxorus. I send in the Haxorus, the Dragon Tail pressure forces them to throw energy, and this means They are not making a Rock Slide. They can only make the Psycho Boost. They've already debuffed their attack by 2 stages, and from here, Altaria is going to win the fast move race here. Altaria Dragon Breaths down the Shadow Dragonair, and that's a good game. We see same leads in the next match, Haxorus and Deoxys. Deoxys is extremely bulky, so it is able to do a decent job of withstanding these dragon moves. I'm going to be firing off the Breaking Swipe. Breaking Swipe connects. I'm going to wait, switch, and catch the move onto Dragonair. This is debuffed. It's not going to do a lot of damage. They're going to stay in with the Deoxys, farm up some energy, and we see another Dugong. So it looks like the Deoxys Dugong core is a pretty common pairing. I am going to be firing off the Body Slam. Body Slam will connect. I make it to another Body Slam. This is not going to be enough to KO. Dugong is extremely bulky here. Dugong is going to get the farm down. But the good news is I baited out the Dugong, and now I can send in the Dragon Tail Haxorus. I should be able to shield once. It is the Icy Wind, and get the farm down before they make their next move. That is massive, and I still have the Altaria ready in the back. They send in Deoxys. I'm going straight for the Breaking Swipe. This will be lethal. Opponent commits the shield. I send in Altaria. I don't care what they throw here. It's going to be debuffed. It could be the Rock Slide. It's just the Psycho Boost. In the bag, they have Golisopod. And after we bait out the Dugong, again, Altaria is in such a good position to sweep. Liquidation connects. We do not see the debuff. I'm farming up and going for the Sky Attack. This will hit for massive, super effective damage. Golisopod commits the shield. Altaria is going to have to burn the final shield itself, but Golisopod cannot make a third charge move. X-Scissor will be shielded, but the Altaria with the energy advantage, Sky Attack, KOs Golisopod, and the Deoxys gets farmed down as well. We see a familiar lead in the next match, Haxorus into Froslass. I saw so many ice types when running this team, and honestly, I was still able to win the vast majority of games because dragon types are absolutely overpowered in this cup. I'm able to grab a shield with the Breaking Swipe. In comes the Dragonair. Honestly, I stay in for too long. I took too much Dragon Breath damage on that Haxorus, and that could come back to cost me later. I send in Altaria. Altaria is going to get the farm down and leave with energy. The Froslass did leave with a move, and I know that I lose CMP, so I'm actually not going to throw my move there. I'm just going to go for the extra Dragon Breath, and now I can go for the kill shot with the Moonblast. Moonblast onto the Froslass will be shielded. Froslass is going to get the farm down, and now I'm waiting my clock, and I'm going to be sending in the Dragonair. Dragonair will look for the shield farm down play in the back. It's Meganium, and this is going to be interesting. Meganium, of course, does have access to Earthquake, which will hit for some pretty significant neutral damage. I landed the Body Slam, opponent over farming, and they're fired off the charge move. I'm going to let this go. I'm saving my shield for the move that I know Froslass has. This is going to be close. Dragonair, can we actually get the farm down? They make a charge move. I'm forced to burn the final shield. I do win CMP over the Froslass here. Is it going to be enough? It's a CMP tie. Will the Aqua Tail KO? Aqua Tail barely does not. And letting my Haxorus get too low earlier is going to cost me this game, as I cannot live the Powder Snow. We've got a battle of dragons in the next match, Haxorus versus Shadow Dragonite. I'm going to stay in this matchup to start, get 2 Dragon Tails, and then save switch into Dragonair, and my opponent is going to respond with Dubwool. Dubwool, of course, will be able to spam out these Body Slams extremely quickly. The nice thing is, I'm able to tank a Body Slam, and they're not really going to be able to double kick down before I make back-to-back Body Slams. I go for Body Slam number 1, we see a shield from my opponent, and I make it to Body Slam number 2. That is massive. Body Slam is going to connect. Dubwool looking for the farm down. Dubwool with a sliver of HP does get the farm down. I'm going to send in the Haxorus here, as the Dragon Tail will go through, and they're only going to get 1 charge move, so I can pretty safely shield. They go for the payback, and now the question is, will they send back in the Dragonite? In comes the Dragonite. The Dragonite lives on 1 HP. I was really hoping the Dragon Tail would KO. Dragon Claw gets the shield. I snipe with the Altaria. In the back, it's a Spark Lantern, and things are suddenly looking dire here. I do know that Moonblast is probably the hardest hitting move that I have left, so that's probably where my opponent is going to use their shield. So I'm actually going to bait with the Sky Attack here, because I need my opponent to shield this and not overfarm. I need them to go for the Thunderbolt right away, which they do, to prevent me making it to another Sky Attack, because this should allow me to win with the Haxorus. Haxorus very low on health here, but I have the Breaking Swipe. Breaking Swipe lands onto the Lantern, and with a sliver of HP, we get the farm down. We see a positive lead for the first time in these battles. Haxorus into Swampert. Opponent is going to get outpaced here to the Earthquake, so they end up going for the Hydro Cannon. Hydro Cannon is resisted, but Haxorus is so glassy that still does over half of my health. And now I am going to be firing off the Breaking Swipe. Breaking Swipe is going to get them low. Here, I go for the snipe with the Dragonair, but they hang on with 1 HP and make the last second Hydro. I do get the KO. In comes Vigoroth. Vigoroth making it to the Body Slam. Body Slam is not going to KO here. I will be able to tank the Body Slam, make it to the last second Body Slam of my own, and put some pressure onto this Vigoroth. Body Slam will be no shielded, and now I'm going to be sending in the Altaria to close the game as it has so many times. In comes the Altaria in the back. My opponent has Dunsparce, and this is going to be interesting. Dunsparce going for the Rock Slide. I'm going to be shielding here because I plan on switching out and going to get a debuff on my Haxorus. Haxorus is going to be able to debuff the Dunsparce, and now the Dunsparce's Rock Slides are going to be doing less damage to Altaria than they typically would. So I'm going to let this go. Haxorus has done its job, and now it's all up to Altaria. Altaria firing off the Sky Attack here into the Dunsparce. Dunsparce will commit the shield. I continue to farm with the Altaria, and I know that I'm going to have to tank 1, so I'm going to let this go. Rock Slide is going to connect. Altaria continuing to farm, and I'm firing off the Sky Attack. I'm trying to get rid of the Dunsparce, and then I should be able to get rid of the Vigoroth. Back in comes the Vigoroth. Vigoroth is firing off a charge move here. I will shield up the Body Slam. It's going to be a race. Sky Attack versus the Body Slam, and we make it to the Sky Attack. Triple Dragon gets the win again, and that's a good game. Hopping into the next match, hitting Haxorus into Dunsparce. Even without counter, this is a pretty good situation to be in. They save switch into Jellicent, and this is looking like the human catcher bug team with Froslass in the back. And in that case, this should basically be a win every single time for Triple Dragon. As you can see there, I try and catch the Shadow Ball onto the Altaria. I'm not quite able to get the catch, but since they're switch locked, they're forced to throw anyway. They can choose to either send in the Dunsparce or the Froslass here, but either way, I'm in an incredibly good position. My opponent is going to be waiting the timer. They're going to send in the Dunsparce here, and I'm firing off the Sky Attack. Just looking to get chip damage onto the Dunsparce, getting it as low as possible, so that way I can just use fast moves to get rid of their team. There, I tried to throw 1 before they made it to the Rock Slide. Unfortunately, little frame drop, end up throwing on CMP, but Altaria able to tank it on 1 HP. Sky Attack connects, and at this point, I just aggressively switch into the Haxorus. They send in the Froslass, but I'm going to make it to double Breaking Swipe here. Breaking Swipe number 1 is going to connect. They go for the farm down. They cannot get the farm down. Please tell me that was a CMP tie. Breaking Swipe gets the shield, and it's a CMP tie. Even without the CMP tie, it's a win anyway, but that's just the icing on the cake. We can send in the Dragonair. Dragonair can very comfortably shield once. Even if they had the back-to-back moves here, we have 2 shields. So it's a very comfortable farm down, and the opponent concedes the match. Hopping into the final match, hitting Haxorus into 1 final Froslass. We saw so many ice types with this team. They're staying in, so I'm doing the exact same. Going for the Breaking Swipe as soon as I get it, as this just does so much damage. They're forced to commit the shield. I continue to farm. They're firing off a charge move, and I'm just going to let the Avalanche go. Avalanche, of course, massive overkill, and as always, I'm just taking my shield advantage and bringing in the Shadow Dragonair. Sorry, the regular Dragonair. I do wish that I had the Shadow. Unfortunately, I haven't really found a good enough IV one, so I am using the regular. In comes Jellicent, and this is tricky. I'm going to farm up a ton of energy and get the catch onto Altaria, but my charge moves do absolutely nothing to Jellicent. Jellicent goes for the Shadow Ball. In the back, it's Medicham, and this, unfortunately, is looking like a loss, as Medicham is going to be able to spam out Ice Punches faster than Altaria can get to Sky Attacks. I'm farming up, and I'm going for the Sky Attack just before they make their next Ice Punch. I have to hope that for some reason they decide to overfarm here. My opponent is not going to let that happen. They're firing off the Ice Punch, and Ice Punch will KO. I send back in the Dragonair. Dragonair firing off the Body Slam here. Body Slam, unfortunately, I don't think will quite KO. Body Slam, looks like there's a little bit of lag. Gets them to within 1 HP. In comes the Jellicent, and unfortunately from here, even a Surf probably KOs me. I'm firing off the Aqua Tail. That connects. I'm going for the next Aqua Tail as well, and they for sure have the Surf here. Aqua Tail connects. Opponent tries to go for the Shadow Ball, and it costs them the game. All in all, I was surprised by how successful this team ended up being. A couple other people in my Discord tried it, and they had a big elo gain as well. This is a team, honestly, I feel like you could run Kingdra on the team. I would say the only irreplaceable mon is probably Altaria. Altaria's just natural bulk and ability to beat other Dragon Breath users is extremely nice, but if you end up, let's say, running the Shadow Dragonair or a Kingdra in one of the other two spots, I think that could also work out quite nicely as well. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you're enjoying the content, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And a special thank you, as always, to our members here on YouTube. The support you guys provide is absolutely incredible. So thank you guys oh so very much. And until next time, I've been HomeSliceHenry.